In the annals of history, a complex tapestry of fears and biases wove its way through the lens of humanity, casting a shadow upon the hearts and minds of those who beheld it. The tale of why Black Africans were historically viewed as a threat reflects a confluence of factors. It begins with the centuries-long practice of slavery, fueled by economic interests and bolstered by racial hierarchies, which bred an underlying dehumanization of Black individuals. European colonial powers, driven by a lust for power and resources, perpetuated narratives of savagery and backwardness, creating an environment of fear and domination. The unfamiliarity of African cultures, diverse customs, and the resistance shown during periods of colonization further intensified this perception. The quest for control, wealth, and a desire to validate notions of superiority all contributed to the deep-rooted preconceptions that cast Black Africans as a perceived threat throughout history. Stereotypes and racial biases. Stereotypes and racial biases have significantly shaped the historical view of Black Africans as a threat. These biases originated from deeply ingrained preconceptions and ignorance, continuing harmful stereotypes that showed Black Africans as primitive, dangerous, and inferior. The legacy of colonization and slavery further fueled these biases, as it provided a framework for subjugation and control. Scientific racism and pseudo-intellectual theories emerged, providing seemingly legitimate justifications for racial discrimination. The impact of these stereotypes and biases cannot be understated, as they influenced public opinion and profoundly affected policymaking and systemic discrimination. Challenging and dismantling these stereotypes is crucial for promoting equality and fostering a more inclusive society. Before we move on, support us by hitting subscribe and the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. Cultural differences and misunderstandings. Cultural differences and misunderstandings have played a significant role in perpetuating the perception of Black Africans as a threat. These differences, stemming from diverse cultural practices and beliefs, have often been misunderstood and misinterpreted by outsiders. Ethnocentrism and a lack of cultural awareness have fueled the perception of Black Africans as foreign, strange, or even dangerous. Additionally, the exaggeration and distortion of cultural practices have used to reinforce the view of the threat. It is crucial to recognize and address these misunderstandings, promoting cultural understanding and empathy to break down the barriers. Economic factors. Economic factors played a significant role in the historical perception of Africans as a threat. The exploitation of Africa's vast resources and the economic competition among colonial powers fueled this view. European nations sought to control and profit from Africa's abundant wealth, perceiving African prosperity as threatening their economic dominance. This led to the justification of subjugation and colonization, the establishment of economic systems that disadvantaged Black Africans. The economic exploitation of the continent reinforced negative stereotypes and perceptions of Africans as inferior and dangerous. The consequences of these economic factors continue to shape societal dynamics and contribute to the ongoing struggle against racism and discrimination. Colonialism and imperialism. Colonialism and imperialism were intertwined systems that profoundly. Colonialism refers to establishing and maintaining colonies by a dominant power in distant territories, often accompanied by the exploitation of resources and the imposition of cultural, social, and economic control. On the other hand, imperialism encompasses broader ambitions of extending political, economic, and military dominance over other regions or nations. Seeking power, wealth, and territorial expansion drove colonialism and imperialism. These systems greatly influenced colonized societies, reshaping their economies, institutions, and identities. While proponents argue that colonialism brought progress and development, critics point to the exploitation, subjugation, and cultural erasure inflicted upon the indigenous peoples. Scientific racism and pseudo-intellectualism. Scientific racism and pseudo-intellectualism are troubling concepts that have significantly impacted racial determination and discrimination. Scientific racism refers to the misguided belief that scientific evidence supports racial hierarchies and justifies the superiority or inferiority of certain races. Pseudo-intellectualism, conversely, involves seemingly intellectual arguments to perpetuate racist ideas and stereotypes. These notions have been used to justify systemic discrimination against Black Africans and other marginalized groups. It is crucial to recognize and challenge these flawed ideologies to promote equality and combat racism in our society. Fear of rebellion and resistance. Fear of rebellion and resistance played a significant role in the historical perception of Black Africans as a threat. Throughout history, Black Africans have exhibited a strong spirit of resilience and determination, often rising against oppressive systems of colonization and slavery. These acts of rebellion, such as the Haitian Revolution and various resistance movements, instilled fear in colonial powers as they challenged the established power hierarchies. The perception of Black Africans as inherently rebellious and prone to resistance was used to justify the oppressive measures imposed upon them. Stereotypes depicting Black Africans as violent and aggressive were perpetuated to maintain control and suppress their demands for freedom and equality. Media portrayal and propaganda. Media portrayal and propaganda significantly shape public perception, including how certain groups, such as Black Africans, are viewed and understood. Throughout history, media outlets have often perpetuated negative stereotypes and biased narratives about Black Africans, reinforcing the notion of them as a threat. Such portrayals have contributed to disseminating prejudiced ideas, emphasizing violence, aggression, and other negative attributes. Propaganda campaigns further amplified these perceptions, intentionally manipulating public opinion to justify discriminatory policies and maintain control over Black Africans. Recognizing the influence of media portrayal and propaganda is crucial in understanding the historical context and challenging these harmful stereotypes. Progress and changing perceptions. In recent years, there has been a notable shift in the perception of Black Africans marked by progress and changing attitudes. Efforts to challenge stereotypes and promote understanding have been crucial in this transformation. Increased representation and visibility of Black Africans in various fields, including politics, entertainment, and academia, have shattered outdated notions of their supposed threat. Positive contributions and achievements by Black Africans have highlighted their diverse talents, intelligence, and resilience. While there is still work to be done, the ongoing struggle against prejudice and recognizing all individuals' inherent value and worth paves the way for a brighter and more accepting future. This historical view of Black Africans as a threat has been shaped by various factors, including stereotypes, racial biases, cultural misunderstandings, economic competition, and colonialism, along with scientific racism, fear of rebellion, media portrayal, and propaganda. These factors have perpetuated negative perceptions and contributed to the marginalization and oppression of Black Africans throughout history. However, it is important to recognize that progress has been made in challenging these stereotypes and promoting understanding. Efforts to counteract racism and discrimination have led to increased awareness, dialogue, and appreciation for Black Africans' diverse contributions and achievements. By continuing to dismantle stereotypes, fostering cultural understanding, and advocating for equality and inclusivity, we can work towards creating a more just and equitable society, free from the historical prejudices that have unjustly viewed Black Africans as a threat. Celebrating diversity, promoting empathy, and ensuring that the narrative surrounding Black Africans reflects their rich history, culture, and contributions to humanity is crucial.